Tonight, months after devastating floods and storms hit the Eyre Peninsula, local families pocket thousands to aid in their recovery. And drastic measures to keep our most vulnerable people safe. A Broken Hill nursing home goes back into lockdown amidst a COVID outbreak.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. The Eyre Peninsula Community Foundation has awarded funding to 2 families who were affected by the storms and floods earlier this year. The wild weather event left destruction in Karku, Yalana and Cummins. Now the foundation is hoping the disaster fund can help these families in their ongoing recovery.
Almost 7 months on since the severe weather events impacting parts of the Eyre Peninsula, now there is a silver lining for those who are affected by the storm and flooding.
So the foundation looked at reactivating our Eyre Peninsula Disaster Fund, and that's a fund that we've had established for many, many years now, and it was last used in 2012 for the Sleaford bushfires.
Thanks to the Eyre Peninsula Community Foundation Disaster Fund, 2 families in the Yalana and Karku districts have a chance to rebuild.
There will be all sorts of expenses that are involved. They have farm recovery to do as well, but it was the personal side in terms of being able to get back to some semblance of a normal home situation for them.
The foundation thanking those in the community who donated between February and March this year to assist in the ongoing recovery.
We opened it for public donations, and we did receive some of those, and we're very, very thankful for the help that we did get. We closed that off a short time ago.
In wake of the extreme weather event, local townships have rallied together and repaired damages. The 2 recipient families grateful for all the community's generosity.
When we notified them, they were absolutely thrilled, very, very pleased that we were able to do that and that the community was able to contribute.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Broken Hill's Harold Williams home has gone into lockdown after a COVID-19 outbreak at the aged care facility. Over the weekend, 20 cases were detected as both staff and residents tested positive to the virus. Family and friends of residents will not be allowed to visit until the facility reopens. The only exception will be made for residents who have a terminal illness. Harold Williams Home is the 2nd aged care facility to go into lockdown due to an outbreak. Earlier this year, St Anne's was also forced to lock down, with interstate nurses and the Australian Defence Force coming in to help. Both facilities are owned by Southern Cross Care, and thankfully no COVID-related deaths have been reported at this time. But in some better news, new data has revealed South Australia has the highest influenza vaccination rate compared to all other states and territories. According to the Australian Immunisation Register, nearly half of our population has rolled up their sleeves for the flu shot. In total, more than 843,000 South Australians have received their flu jab, with the current uptake surpassing figures at the same time last year by more than 100,000 doses. It comes as tens of thousands of locals are also stepping up to get their COVID winter dose to help protect themselves, their families and the community against the virus. Megs Bookshop is a Port Pirie icon and a must-go destination when visiting. This year marks 31 years of the excellent customer service in rural South Australia, but like most good things, they eventually come to an end, with the business now up for sale.
Owners of Megs Bookshop, Mark and Margie Arnold, thought the death of the book was overrated, and it turns out they were correct.
Most people say, look, they'd rather just hold a physical book. And so the physical book has remained very strong. Sales worldwide are quite positive for books. It's a matter for us of making sure we can sell enough books to stay in business. And we've managed to do that. And so whenever there's been any doubt about things, we just bought more books.
Both Margie and Mark are passionate readers, And as a teacher, Margie would use books within her teaching, and has even written her own book, titled Sometimes, which has now become the theme of the shop, as there are white stars everywhere you look.
Well, I've been referred to as a bookworm, but I've always enjoyed reading. Fiction, non-fiction, crime fiction, sort of whatever's around the place. And there was a market. It's not just for the general public in Perry, but for the schools and libraries. We're always a big part of our business.
Megs Bookshop has become a part of the community, hosting many events and meetings with local authors. The public has appreciated the local bookstore, as not every regional location is fortunate enough to have one. And Mark and Margie hope the new owners are as passionate about the community and books as they are. Despite vacant shop fronts around them and the rise of the digital era, the owners of Megs Bookshop have stayed positive throughout it all.
You have to be looking for new ways of doing things, and digital marketing these days, which you have to be part of. It's probably a younger person's game.
The owners say it has been an absolute privilege to run a bookshop and has given them a lot of enjoyment. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, urgent winter warnings about the humble clothes dryer and charcoal barbecue. And it's almost showtime. Port Lincoln locals in for a treat next month with the return of the show after 3 long years. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Gulf Nightly News. Now that we're in the thick of winter, fireys over the border in New South Wales were called to what could have been an extremely tragic scene. 6 people, including 2 children and 4 adults, were taken to hospital for treatment earlier this morning after bringing a charcoal cooker inside a granny flat, leading to suspected carbon monoxide poisoning. Authorities are warning that outdoor cookers and heaters, especially those with charcoal beads, give off poisonous carbon monoxide gas and should never be used indoors. Firefighters say carbon monoxide is a colourless and odourless gas that can build up in rooms and overwhelm people without warning. In this particular case, tragedy was narrowly avoided after one of the adults woke up feeling sick in the middle of the night and proceeded to wake up the rest of the household. Meantime, here in South Australia, the MFS is warning residents about the potential danger of clothes dryers. We're being reminded to follow some simple rules to avoid fires starting in the laundry room, as we tend to use the machines more often during the cooler winter months. The top tip is, of course, to never leave the dryer running while no one is home. It's also recommended the lint filter is cleaned before every use, which can be easily done by removing it from its compartment and taking out the accumulated lint. MFS also says if you're using anti-static sheets, you should give the filter a scrub once a month using warm soapy water and rinse thoroughly to remove the waxy buildup. Another good tip is to never turn the dryer off before the cool down period is over, as fires have been known to ignite from clothing being bunched up while still hot inside the dryer. On average, 64 people lose their lives in preventable house fires across the country every year. After a 3-year hiatus, the Port Lincoln show is back and it's looking to go all out. Returning on August the 14th, this year's program is filled with brand new rides, live music, a McDonald's, along with much more. The show is promising to have something for everyone.
The Port Lincoln show is back and is shaping up to be the city's biggest community event this year. After a 3-year hiatus, the show's president has been working hard to bring new and exciting talent to the event.
We've got lots of great local entertainment, music, free McDonald's petting zoo for the kids. We've got competitions. We've got Mr. Upi, who's going to be doing his big bubble act.
This year's show stepping it up a gear, securing the extreme thrill ride, along with many more spectacles to keep people busy throughout the day.
World-class sand sculpting event coming to the show, and he's going to do workshops in the afternoon with the kids and teach them how to really build sand castles and that sort of thing.
The show guaranteeing to have something for everyone this year, with food and drinks available from a variety of stands. A range of music acts will also be taking centre stage.
We've set out a really great entertainment area. We've got great local bands, Chrissy Kay and her band, and Jade Whitaker and Johnny Murray playing, plus more.
It will be held at the Port Lincoln Racecourse on August the 14th. Gates will open at 9 and the show will run until 5 p.m. To secure your spot, people can now book online.
Yeah, this year we got online booking for the first time. Really encourage that, so people can do that. It just makes it easier for us as well on the day. But there's also FPOS and cash available at the gates.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Why West Darling Arts has moved from its Argent Street headquarters. And a walk a day keeps the doctor away. Wellbeing SA's new push to get us out of the house and pounding the pavement. Welcome back. West Darling Arts has moved its operations to a more community-friendly location in Blen Street. The move is set to benefit local creatives and will see the establishment of a media hub for budding filmmakers.
It's all about location, location, location. And the staff at West Darling Arts are excited about their new one. And it's still very central.
It's fantastic, yeah, very exciting. We've moved a whole, I don't even know if it's a whole block, but yes, we have, from Argent to Blen Street.
There were a couple of factors in the move, with plans for the library and archive construction, which will back onto the Town Hall facade, where the organisation were based, as well as the creation of a media hub, which came off of the back of some funding from Create New South Wales.
Although initially we hadn't planned to move as part of that project, but we thought it'd be a great opportunity for us and also to make the media hub more successful as well.
The hub is great for a city like Broken Hill with its history of film, and hopefully it provides for local and out-of-town filmmakers alike.
We're hoping that the hub will work by encouraging local filmmakers, but also to help filmmakers that might come here, and if we can provide any sort of services for them as well.
The move is a permanent one, and while the old site was a great place to be and supported by having City Council close by, it is now more accessible for members of the public.
And we're a bit more visible as well, so we're not, with the Town Hall facade, I mean, it's so beautiful, I think everyone's just busy looking at the building, whereas here, we've just got that real big shop front sort of thing.
The new location is right opposite Headspace if you need to drop in. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
It comes after bin inspectors have noticed plenty of recyclable items in the regular bins recently. The aim of the pledge is to ensure the correct waste goes in the allocated bins. After signing the pledge on Council's website, they'll send you a sticker to place on your red-littered bin to show everyone you're committed to reducing landfill. You will also go in the draw to win a gift box from the Tourism and Arts Centre or a voucher to the Waste Transfer Station. A total of 50 prizes will be available over the 10-week competition period. A walk a day can do wonders for your health, according to Wellbeing SA. And staying active and improving your mental health doesn't need to be time-consuming or strenuous. In fact, it's as easy as a 10-minute stroll. This winter, Wellbeing SA is encouraging Spencer Golf residents to discover the benefits of walking and has tips on how to increase your step count. Start swapping driving for walking while travelling short distances, such as to work, school, the shops or your local coffee shop. Walking is proven to be an instant mood booster and is recommended where possible to enjoy nature around you. If you need some inspiration of where to walk, you can discover your own backyard on Walking SA's website, which includes more than 700 trails across the state. Stay with us after the break. We check in with how our local sporting comps are going. And we'll have the weather details with John Hunt. Welcome back. Some sports had a bit of time off during the school holidays, while others kept their seasons rolling. Now all eyes are firmly set on the coveted grand final spot coming up in September. Our reporter Joshua Mercer has this week's Sports Wrap.
We're at that time of year where the contenders are separated from the pretenders. Who will be there on grand final day? Well, we will soon find out. Starting off with netball in Port Lincoln, and the third place Imperials had a victory over the bottom place Boston, 39-28. It's been a long season for Boston, who have only won one game this season. In the other A-grade game, top of the ladder Waybacks were way too good for Wanilla Rangers, defeating them by 6 points, 48-42. Waybacks have only lost one game so far and should be firming as the favourites to win the title. Moving on to Port Augusta now, and the third place Railways upset ladder leaders Vikings by 17 points, 54-37. The loss is Vikings' second of the season, but they are still 4 points clear of the second place Magpies. Speaking of the Magpies, they beat cellar dwellers St Joseph's 57-43. Looking at Port Pirie now, and Central Risdon easily accounted for Port, winning by 46 points, 85-39. Central Risdon are yet to lose a game this season. In the other match, Blue Wren also had a dominant win, defeating Solomon Town 73-45. This sets up a mouthwatering clash with Central Risdon next week, which could be a possible grand final preview. Changing over to the Port Pirie Volleyball League, and Title of Your Set Tape had another win, defeating CTTPE 3-0 in the 6:50pm A-grade game. They won 25-22, 25-22 and 25-19 in the final set. Best for Title of Your Set were Renee Wood and Bella Ohms, while Michael Jemison and Steph Richards were CTTPE's best on the night. In the 8pm A-grade game, Mad Lads got the victory over Hammertime, 3-1. The lads won the first two sets respectively 25-16 and 25-17, while Hammertime won the third 25-18. There was no comeback story for Hammertime though, as they fell in the fourth set 25-14. Now don't forget, if you'd like your sport to be featured on our bulletin, all you have to do is contact us through our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with John Hunt. John, it was a rather chilly start to the day in Whyalla this morning.
Good evening, Maddie. That's right. At 7 a.m. it was just -1, but it felt closer to -4.5. No doubt a few windscreens had to be defrosted with the heater ramped up on the way to work. Whyalla warming up to 14 degrees just after 2 p.m, but the feels like didn't even crack the double digits. Elsewhere, Port Lincoln warmed up, if you can call it that, to 12.6 degrees. Clare was cold, peaking at 9 degrees just before 11 a.m. Looking more broadly at today's weather map, and it was 16 degrees in Port Augusta. Port Pirie reached 14 degrees. Woodner reached 16 degrees after an overnight low of just -1.1. Taking a look at the satellite image now, and a large high pressure system centred just to the west of Tasmania will move slowly eastwards to reach the southern Tasman Sea by Thursday. This high will maintain a ridge of high pressure over South Australia. A weakening change will move into the far west of the state on Friday before dissipating. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Easterly winds 10 to 15 knots, increasing up to 20 knots south of Port Pirie. Seas around 1 metre, and a south to southwesterly swell around 1 metre. Port Lincoln will be between 6 and 13 degrees tomorrow. Partly cloudy in Cleve, heading for a top of 12. Woodner partly cloudy in 15. 14 in Whyalla and Kadina tomorrow, 16 on the way for Port Augusta. Port Pirie will be partly cloudy and 16 on Wednesday, just 11 in Clare, and there's a slight chance of a shower in Broken Hill, temperatures between 2 and 13 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, partly cloudy conditions on Thursday's map, temperatures between 15 and 19 degrees. Port Augusta will be warmer than Cooper PD. Less sun and more clouds are forecast for Friday, but it'll be warmer as well. 17 in Port Lincoln, 21 forecast for Port Augusta. And taking our first peek at what Saturday's looking like. Warmer conditions for the first day of the weekend. 22 the top in Port Augusta, temps in the late teens and early 20s everywhere else. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. I hope you're keeping warm at the moment. It's back to you, Maddie.
Thanks for that, John. Nice to have you back. And that's the local news this Tuesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.